latest. I'm going to get off screen here real quick because I want to see the very latest. This is the HRRR, and this is updated once an hour. So here's what it is saying should happen. Those thunderstorms, it's not picking it up exactly. I mean, none of these computer models are exact, but it is showing that heavier rain should move across Kerr County, and let's hope that this doesn't happen. Heavier rain coming in after about 10:30 and then off and on throughout the afternoon there in Kerr County. Let's hope that that doesn't happen. Okay, for us here in Bexar County, I think for the most part, just light to moderate rain continuing kind of off and on throughout the day. And for the fireworks tonight, perhaps some light rain around, temperatures in the low 80s, lots of clouds. So just keep that in mind. So this is what I think is going to happen as we head into the next day or so. We still will have a chance for some showers and storms for your Saturday, and temperatures tomorrow will be on the cooler side. So this is the forecast for today here for us here in Bexar County. I'm expecting the high temperature to be right around the mid 80s, about 86 or so. Good chance for scattered showers, maybe a thunderstorm, but mainly showers and rain throughout the morning and into a good portion of the afternoon. And then this evening for the fireworks, temperatures in the low 80s and mostly cloudy skies, perhaps a few showers around. Okay, all right, Sarah, what is going on those roadways this morning?
Yeah, so I want to take it back to another live shot from our photographer, Matt. They have been out there for several hours in Kerr County and Kerrville, just watching what has been unfolding as a result of the rain we saw overnight, Paul. It looks like chaos out there right now. This is on Thompson Drive, Louise Hayes Park, Thompson Drive. We are getting word that parts of Thompson Drive still closed off, but it looks like this part is open. You can see we have numerous first responders there, several other vehicles. I don't know if those are first responder vehicles or just normal residents, but again, you can see we have numerous police cars there. We also have what appears to be a stretcher being pulled out. I see men with helmets on. It looks like they're either preparing for a water rescue or have already just completed one, but we have been learning that water assets are being taken to the scene to help assist in those water rescues that we have been reporting on all morning long. Unfortunately, folks, this has turned into a very serious situation, deadly. In fact, we've already got confirmed that numerous fatalities have been reported by the city of Kerrville. Just a very unfortunate situation that we are watching. But again, this is one area of Kerrville that is just flooded, for better lack of a word, with first responders as they're trying to respond to this scene. A very concerning situation. I want to take it to our TransGuide camera. I do not have the luxury of showing you different parts of Kerrville on our TransGuide cameras. I am only working with this one, but I'm still monitoring it. I don't believe any flooding will happen in this area due to how the highway is built in this part of the area, but I'm watching it for any major incidents or accidents to pop up. So far, it has been quiet, which is good. It looks like we do have some water droplets on our camera, so it might be indicating that rain could be falling still in this area. Guys, if you don't have to commute, I would highly recommend you stay home. If it's safe enough, stay home and do not commute along I-10 towards Kerrville. Over to our map, it has numerous road closures that we are following. I have been listening closely to Audrey, Barry, Paul, our reporters, to try and keep up with the number of closures we have. And I think this is really just a small picture of what's really happening out there. And here is a look at some of those in Kerrville. FM 480 between Bandera Highway and Texas 27, that's closed. Texas 39 in both directions between FM 187 and Junction Highway closed. Goat Creek Road, both directions between Junction Highway and I-10 closed. Loop 534 north between Texas 173 and Sidney Baker Street, that is, closed. And Highway 27 near Center Point closed. And that was where our Sue Kalberg was going live from. A very scary scene from where she was reporting. We saw a truck in the water. Please, guys, if you see water on the road, do not attempt to drive through it. This is a very serious situation. We have high water reported in numerous spots. We even caught a glimpse of a couple of deer jumping into the water. Just very hard to take in those images as a result of those overnight rains. And I want to talk about, I wish I could show you my second computer that I have, but I want to talk about what Paul has been mentioning. The Guadalupe River, there are numerous campsites along this stretch of the river. And I see on my map here we have Camp La Junta for boys, we have Camp Flamingero, Heart O' the Hills Summer Camp for girls, Camp Mystic for girls, lots of camps for children along this way, Camp Waldemar also along that route. And then we have, let's see, I'm going to zoom into my map here. We have just a number of green spaces for camping. We also aren't too far from several schools, Ingram Middle School, Ingram High School, First Presbyterian Church of Ingram, lots of places where people would probably go to during the summertime, whether that's for camp or summer school. Just a numerous number of spots that we are watching and very concerned about, especially now that we're getting reports of fatalities. Elsewhere on our map in Kerrville, we have a number of road closures, Arcadia Loop, most of Thompson Drive, which is where you saw that live shot from our photographer, Guadalupe Street, Lowry Street, Rio Robles, Riverside Drive, Herzog, and Loop 13 and portions of Broadway. These are closed off to drivers. They may soon open up with the water receding, but at last check, these were the ones that were closed off. And again, this may just be a small piece of a bigger pie, folks. There may be more road closures. This is just what I've been able to collect from my data here at the station. In Bandera, we are also seeing numerous road closures. 16 North at Four Sisters, Brewington Creek, and FM 2107. And we have been hearing from our first responders all morning long that dispatchers are just clogged up with numerous phone calls about people needing to be rescued. They're also getting phone calls from people who are just looking for some flood updates. Please do not do that. There is a non-emergency line that you can contact. The phone number there on your screen, 830-796-3771. And because this is an emergency situation, I'm going to repeat that again. 830-796-3771. If your life is in danger, please call 911, but do not clog up the system with phone calls regarding flood updates. Keep it here on KENS 5 for the very latest. Also in the Comfort area, we're seeing some road closures. High Road and High Street, 7th and Cypress Creek, and High Street and Guadalupe River. I am getting where that Comfort High School is open for people evacuating. That is according to the Kendall County Emergency Management. So just numerous road closures that we are following. And then as far as San Antonio, we seem to be unscathed from the overnight weather. Guys.
All right, thanks so much, Sarah, for those updates. Right now, we want to go back to Kerrville, where Rania Kaur is for us. She's been live there all morning.
Yeah, and Ronnie, we understand they had told us earlier there were some fatalities now, and we understand you can confirm this for us.
I can confirm one fatality here at Louise Hayes Park. I mean, the water was so high that it was to the sidewalk that's right here on Thompson Drive and Cully Drive. First responders are actively asking people to avoid Louise Hayes Park and even driving around trying to take video or pictures of the Guadalupe River because it's actually impeding on their rescue operations right now. We don't have an exact count. We know that Kerr County reported fatalities, but I did see, of course, first responders here at Louise Hayes Park, further down at the park, pulling a body that they had found right next to the river. The water was so high that it came up to the entrance of Louise Hayes Park. And I just want to remind everyone, this is where the 4th of July festivities were supposed to happen today, so it's beginning this afternoon. And very quickly it's turned into this tragic situation. First responders tell me they're actually trying to just sweep Louise Hayes Park right now because right now the water has crested and it's safe enough for them to do that. But they do expect the water to rise again. So again, they're asking everyone who's in this area to please just stay home. Don't drive around because again, it's impeding on first responders. If you need refuge, they tell me United Methodist Church is open for those that need shelter. But that's sort of the situation that we're seeing right now unfold at Louise Hayes Park. For those that know this area, I saw debris all the way up to that play structure. It's completely wrapped by this fallen tree. There's this fish statue at the park. The water, when I was walking there just about 10, 15 minutes ago maybe, was all the way up to that statue. It has receded a little since then, but still it's a very active and flowing situation. And I'm going to have Matt pan a little bit more because you can actually see first responders still there, again, actively searching this area. Barry,
Rania.
Audrey?
Rania, I know we heard there may be Coast Guard choppers trying to do rescues. Have you seen anything by air, any rescues or search crews?
So we have confirmed that the Coast Guard is here with their choppers to assist with the rescues. We also know that they have swift water rescue equipment and they've brought in high water rescue equipment. We don't know exactly how many agencies are here in Kerrville right now. They're working on getting that list for me. So we'll bring that update to you, but we know that there are a lot of resources that have been brought to Kerrville to just assist with the situation that seems to continue to evolve.
And
Barry, Audrey?
I saw there was some rope in the area that you had been earlier. It looks like they've roped it off now. Is that because that area is now an active investigation area?
So yes, that is why. Again, we do have some we did see many of the ropes already here. I can't say that these are new ropes. I believe these were put up for the 4th of July festivities. I'm seeing a sign that says fireworks restricted area. So these ropes that you're seeing right now were already here. At this point, I haven't seen any crime scene tape at Louise Hayes Park while I was walking through, but we were told again by first responders and the Kerrville Police Department to actively avoid this area because they are looking for people who may need rescued or bodies that unfortunately may need to be pulled.
Right.
Reporting live, I'm Rania Kerr, KENS 5.
All right, thank you, Rania. And earlier, the mayor had declared a disaster in the area, and obviously we have the Coast Guard there now assisting as well. This will obviously open up for some state, maybe some federal money to help folks recover from this flooding that came on all of a sudden. We want to give you a better idea of just exactly what it was like early this morning. These are viewer videos.
Right now, that is a live picture, though, of an ambulance rushing through town, assuming they have someone who maybe they've recovered or someone who maybe has been injured from one of those high water rescues. This is going on, like you just heard from Rania. They said to stay away from Louise Hayes Park. If you're in Kerrville, if you're in Kerr County, they are actively searching that city, county, along with now the Coast Guard has come in.
Well, and they're going to have to comb the riverbanks just up and down that entire area. So the best thing is, I know everybody wants to see it, but stay home and watch it on TV. Don't get in the way of anybody who might be out there trying to help or save someone's life.
And right now we want to go to some more of those viewer videos and pictures. This is a look at Cypress Creek Bridge from KENS 5's Earl Stoudemire. He's been out there. You can see, water starting to take over some of those bridges there in that area. Yeah,
that would be impassable now for sure. And I want to take a look now at the San Antonio Fire Command unit. They're on I-10 headed towards Waring. This was from earlier today. This was about 7:30. They're assisting. They're sending manpower and resources up there to help the folks in Fredericksburg and along that entire area, as well as that water moves down.
Absolutely. And want to take a picture right now from a KENS 5 viewer. This is Casey Claiborne. She sent us this, and you can just see the devastation at the raging river waters caused. There was a ton of debris and no trespassing fence.
That's a gate.
A gate, yeah. It looks like it was pulled off. You can see a tree in the distance just knocked over, and I'm sure that water, was flowing really fast when she took that photo.
Yeah, and now check out some of this flooding. This is in Center Point, and you can see all of the debris that this water is carrying with it, and that water is moving too across the highway. I can only assume this is, this is from our viewer Frank Thompson. I thought at first that might have been 27 where Sue Kalberg and Earl Stoudemire were a while ago, but you saw that big Dodge 2500 or 3500 dually truck trying to come through that water a while ago, stalled out in that water. Fortunately, there was at least two people in the driver because they said they discussed what to do. They were trying to save the truck, but eventually had to rescue themselves, get out of that water, and the truck was swept away.
Yeah, please remember, turn around, don't drown. It is not worth your life or your safety. But also right now, taking a look at Center Point and another vantage point, you can see just how high. Oh, excuse me, this is Kerrville. This is another one of those high water areas of the Guadalupe River, covering one of those waterways.
Yeah, you can just see how high the water got. This was posted by the city of Kerrville on their Facebook page. So don't go into this water. And we're not done with this yet either. Paul was saying there is still a system north that's going to bring more rain. Want to go to a video now out of Comfort. This was taken by one of our viewers on Lane Valley Road early this morning. As you can see that water coming down that channel, bringing all the debris and everything else with it. It's going to be moving. It's going to continue to move down. Look how it's coming toward the camera.
Wow. And we want to go to another video. This is a nighttime video from KENS 5 viewer Leslie McCleary. We heard from her and her husband Justin just a little while ago. They work at a local radio station there. They went out to help PD because they are journalists. So they went out to kind of survey the area. You can see water in some of those businesses and some of those homes, just terrifying. She posted that was kind of near Junction, and she posted that around 4 or 5 in the morning. So those folks, it's pitch black, and that water just starts rising. That has to be a terrifying, terrifying situation. And
this is that Lane Valley Road video again. To give you just some idea, this is not one of the main tributaries, but this is one of the normally dry creeks where that water, you can see that wall of water just coming down, and look how quickly that's moving. So you can only imagine, Paul, that the river at Kerrville was moving at 175,000 cubic feet per minute. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, just amazing amount of water.
That's a line of debris.
Yeah, or maybe it's per minute. But anyway.
Yeah, now look at the debris there in that water.
A straight line of debris. That's amazing video right there.
You know what? We'll just stay with this for a second. That is totally amazing.
Well, now just imagine if you were in that water trying to, foolish enough to try to walk through it. If you were stranded and had no choice, what that debris would do with you.
You know, if you were in there, I don't think you'd really have a chance, especially with that bridge right there. Yeah, it wouldn't be very, very good. Yeah, and this is a small tributary. So you can just imagine.
Which is normally dry.
Yeah,
Paul,
you bet.
We saw some people posting online. Barry and I were, going on Facebook. Some people are talking about Ingram Dam, and we saw some really raging waters across the Ingram Dam.
Yes, I love the Ingram Dam. Have you ever gone to the Ingram? It's a lot of fun.
Yes.
Well, we also saw pictures of the store there.
Yeah.
It was totally crushed.
I didn't see those pictures. Was it totally crushed there?
Devastating.
It's no longer there, that's for sure.
Wow.
And like we heard from Stacy Leparati, who is with the nonprofit who puts on that 4th of July celebration in Kerrville, she said Hunt got hit even harder.
Yes.
And we do have a crew headed to the scene. I believe Meredith Haas is headed there to Hunt, Texas, to survey some of that damage, and hopefully everyone is accounted for it there.
Yeah, I used to MC an event there, I believe in Kerrville. It was Any Baby Can.
Oh yeah.
And we'd spend the night there in Hunt, and it's such a beautiful place and so peaceful. That river is a lot of fun. But when it gets like this, it becomes just a raging monster. And Audrey, that river almost was a record. So it's about as bad as it gets there in Hunt. Of course, it has receded in Hunt. It has receded a bit in Kerrville. But there may be some more heavy rain on the way, unfortunately.
It is not good news.
That storm north of there, Paul, what's it doing now?
Okay, well, let me show you. Of course, today is a KENS 5 weather impact alert day. Flooding is possible, not necessarily here in Kerr County, but in the viewing area, so you want to stay aware. Okay, we've got a flood warning that is in effect now. This continues to be extended. At one time, this warning for western portions of Kerr County went until 7 a.m., extended till 10 a.m., and now has been been extended until noon. It does include the extreme northern portions of Bandera County. Also, we've got a river flood warning for the Guadalupe River, and I'm expecting for the river, it's already crested at Kerrville and also at Hunt, but should crest at Comfort at 1 o'clock. They're moving this up a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if the crest wasn't at noon, but it's getting closer and closer, and I know we're getting to that point where that river, it may be quiet now, but a wall of water literally is moving in that direction through Kendall County, and now at Spring Branch. The Guadalupe River should see some flooding, but there it should be minor. That may be upgraded a little later. Okay, so we've got all kinds of flooding going on, especially there in Kerr County. Earlier this morning, we had just a lot of rainfall, anywhere from around 6 to 10 inches of rain just this morning. Okay, we've got more rain that is coming down. It's coming down with intensity. And here we've got some thunder and some lightning and some heavier cells that are moving in, unfortunately. It's widened the view a little bit. And you know, last night, we had a lot of moisture. We had this low-level jet. We had a lot of thunderstorm action, and so much thunderstorm action that now we've got a mesoscale system, an area of low pressure, almost like a tropical system here. And you can see what's happening. So we've got more rain moving into Kerr County. Real quick, before I toss to you guys, we've got an amazing amount of rain that's going to start moving back in, another 2 to 3 inches. So it may get worse in Kerr County. Then it's getting better now, but it may get worse before it gets really better. And
we heard from police through Rania that they thought that. But right now we want to go to Sue Kalberg. She's at Highway 27 near Center Point. Sue, what's happening behind you?
As you can see, there is a high water rescue crew here getting ready to launch a boat. I see emergency services personnel from Comfort and Fredericksburg, and there are RVs washed away here. At this point, we are starting to see parts of buildings washed by. But by far, the most disturbing thing here is that we are hearing people screaming in the distance beyond the water. So we are not bothering the first responders. We're not even bothering to ask them what they're doing here, because I can hear people actively screaming somewhere in the tree line here on the Guadalupe River. So as you can see, they're rushing to launch an all-out rescue effort here. And as they launch, we will follow along with them and see what they're doing, because there are obviously people in trouble somewhere nearby in an area where we have seen RVs float by, parts of buildings float by. And you know, obviously these people are rushing for their lives, putting their lives on the line to save other people, because they too can hear the screams in the distance. So we'll stay with it. Sir, do you know what happened over there, or do you happen to know what happened over there? There's people on that side. I hear screaming.
Oh, I don't know. My house is right there.
Your house is right there. Is your house inundated or still high and dry? Is your house? Oh, that's your house.
2 feet.
Your house has 2 feet of water in it?
No, it's
2 feet
to go
away.
to get the top of it.
2 feet away, yeah, okay.
There, that brown house with a green roof.
Brown house with a green roof. Let's just look over there. Yeah.
It was 10 feet 6 inches above the ground.
He said it was 10 feet 6 inches above the ground, and the water is getting ready to overtake his house with the green roof. And then you can see the first responders. Do you know anything about neighbors in your area? Have your neighbors managed to escape? Do you know anything about the people that were hearing screaming?
I know they're out, yeah. No one was in that gray house.
He says nobody was in the gray house right across the water, but I do hear people screaming over there. Yeah, I think that's why those guys are getting in the boat.
Maybe there was somebody in that B&B then.
There's an Airbnb there, yeah.
Yes, Airbnb there, and there was...
And do you have any idea, just downstream we saw 4 or 5 very large RVs that have floated downstream?
No, they were parked there. They come for the weekend.
They were...
That's their weekend parking spots.
Okay, so weekend visitors were here, and you know, very expensive RVs have been washed away. I watched a Camaro type automobile, you know, a small sporty white car, just go right downstream, bobbing downstream. We've seen all manner of large objects and parts of buildings go downstream here. I'm going to try to move over a little bit so we can stay out of the rain, so the gear won't die in the rain.
Sue, now Paul just came over and told us.
Yes, I'm listening.
So Paul had just told us the water is just
Yes,
now
I hear you.
cresting in that area.
Yes, I would say that that's true. It has been steadily rising. I've been here for 20 minutes or so, and it had been steadily rising, but it seems to be plateaued right this minute. But rain is still falling from the sky. So,
Sue,
you know,
how populated
it
of
may
an
be
area
cresting right
is
this
that?
minute.
Are you in a neighborhood? Are you in town, or is this just a little resort type area there?
no, we are equidistant probably between Center Point and Comfort. There's a church behind me. Oh, Godspeed, gentlemen, Godspeed. There's a church behind me, and we are not to Lane Valley Road yet. So we are west of Lane Valley Road. You've heard people talk about Lane Valley and it being impassable. I heard you just a minute ago say that, you know, people sent video from earlier on Lane Valley when it was when the water was still coming up, and so we're just a little bit west of that, if you can imagine it. And
right there.
these guys are trying to
Rescue a man.
Can you see that man, Sue, in the tree?
Wow. Right now, if Sue...
Okay, we're just going to stay with this.
Yeah, there is a man. Sue said she heard people screaming, Sue, and I'm assuming it is that gentleman who first responders are trying to help out right there, and that water is moving fast.
Yeah, there he is. Awesome.
Oh, they got him.
They got the guy. You're watching a live shot. We're out of Center Point right now. We are in just outside of Center Point. Sue Kalberg is on the scene. Sue, did you hear or do you know if you heard more than one person yelling for help?
It is so noisy out here with the rain and the traffic. I know for sure that I heard one person screaming, but as you saw, when they put that guy in the boat, they were pointing upstream. So I don't know if there's another person, but maybe they'll rescue one fellow, and then if there's more people, they will go back and get them. Common sense would indicate you'd save one person and then go on to the next, but we're going to know more in just a minute here.
Yeah, but you're not hearing any other yells
hear
at this point.
anybody screaming. I'm not hearing any other screams at this point, but they were pointing upstream as if maybe there's somebody else. You see, he's still pointing.
And
We're going to try to get him out of the water.
A young...
Looks to be a relatively young man.
Yeah. Looks like maybe he's woken up.
And as I said, in this area, we saw RVs float downstream, just out of our line of sight here. RVs, parts of buildings. He keeps pointing back over his shoulder, and the boat is gone again now. The boat is back out in the water.
Can you?
Earl, where's the umbrella? We're going to go on.
We're
gonna.
Can you
I'm
see?
under cover right now.
Oh, wow. Is that a top of a... There's something really large on top of a house floating down the river. It's headed for those first responders.
If we can,
We're live streaming, so we're live streaming.
Live TV. You're on my property.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I appreciate the hospitality. You're not going to chase us out of here, are you? Yeah. Tell me. Come over here and talk to me and tell me what you know. What are we looking at here?
Has this started going back down?
Not yet. Somebody said there's a house floating downstream. Is there a house floating downstream right there?
Oh, a house floating. No.
I see a roof line.
Is that right there?
Yeah, is that a house on the move, or does that house belong there?
If anything, that's not a house. If anything,
It's just a roof?
Storage shed.
A storage shed.
If it's anything, but no, the houses
Okay.
you can see.
Earl, go get that guy.
You can see all the houses here.
Okay.
Well, they're underwater.
Okay, I'm just gonna, y'all just come with me. We're gonna.
One of the guys that works for me told me that there was a guy in a tree.
Yes, they just got him. This is him.
Oh, they got him.
Yeah.
Your heart goes out to that young man who just, was clinging to a tree to try and save his life.
Literally 60 seconds ago, rescuers pulled him out of that tree to get him out of that flood water, and this young man wasn't out there by himself.
No.
There are other people that have to be out in those waters. The rescue boat immediately turned around and went back out. Sue, is there any way, can you see that boat still that the rescuers were in?
Earl, do you see the boat? I do not see the boat, and I hesitate to go any closer because I'm not going to interfere with these guys.
Absolutely not.
As you can see, there's water getting into houses here.
Well, what does that sign say?
Earl, did the boat go downstream?
I can't even see it. It's so far down.
Okay, the boat is so far gone to the other side, we cannot see it. It's beyond that line of trees over there.
And that water is moving from your right, from our screen view, from the right to the left. It's moving downstream to the left. Is that correct, Sue?
That is correct. So just to orient you, screen right would be Center Point, Texas. Screen left would be Comfort, Texas. And in the middle would be the raging Guadalupe, which usually is, as you said many times, is just, a small trickling stream here. I'm going to show you this view down here, what we saw when we got here. Yeah, okay, they're telling us to back up, and I'm with them. But in the distance, you can see there's a pickup truck that has been stalled there for about an hour or so. There are RVs that the fellow who owns this property, he said that these people were here for the weekend. They have weekend places. A couple of them, as you might be able to tell, were trying to get away. But let me zoom in here. Earl, can you help me with the umbrella?
And those are RVs we're looking at now in the water.
The lens is fogging. Yes, they were trying to escape, but they were overcome. Now, while we have been sitting here, I watched an RV of this size and class just go floating from way up here to way beyond. It is somewhere way downstream now. Look, there's a pickup truck going down toward the water too. Yeah. So many people have turned out and they're trying to help.
But no sight of the rescue boat at this point.
I don't see the boat anywhere, but the tree line is very heavy here. That tree line you see 100 yards away is beyond that tree line. That's where the river would be. But see where we are. I mean, it's
was that property?
Great distance away.
Was that property owner who you were talking to?
Pardon?
The property owner who you were talking to, was he able to say how many rentals are on that portion of land right there? Because I know that's a big concern. A lot of people from out of town don't know the area, may not have known, this storm system was coming through.
Well, this entire area, every little bit, every parcel is got some kind of little cabin or getaway place or permanent residence. So this place is absolutely dotted with, oh, here they come. Here we go. Let's see what's going on here.
Another rescue.
They pulled some.
Now, they told us.
2 people.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sue.
Now, they told us to stand back, so I'm not going to. They told us to stand back and not get in their way, so I'm going to stay where I'm at.
Sue, is that a child, a baby in the front of that boat?
It's a girl.
That this firefighter is lifting up right now.
There's a little one.
Looks to be a toddler. Oh my goodness.
That'd be a terrifying moment for that family. It looks like 3 other people with life jackets handing that baby off to hopefully another family member.
Okay, there's an answer to a prayer right there.
2 children.
Oh, look, here's this fellow. Somebody gave him a shirt. Here's our guy again.
Yes. You would assume with him going back down there to them that has to be members of the same family or the same group at the very least.
And it looks like those folks may have just woken up. It looks like.
Say that again, sir? Say that again, sir.
Oh, it's about 3 feet.
Okay, the property owner just came back and he said the water has come up 3 feet in the last few minutes to his house. So
no, man, it'll be 3 feet. It's come up about 6 or 8 inches in the last
6 or 8 inches in the last hour, and it's very, very close to his house, is what he said. Okay.
So there are at least 5 people now that have been rescued here, literally in front of us in the past 5 or 7 minutes.
And this is Highway 27 near Center Point. And the way Sue is describing it, right now she's between Center Point and Comfort, and a heavy, heavy populated area with RVs and homes and some rental homes.
Well, and you know there were a lot of people there. This is July 4th, so there were a lot of people there going to celebrate the July 4th holiday, camping out along the river, whatever, and totally unprepared for something like this. And I don't think we had anticipated something of this magnitude. And Paul told us yesterday, yeah, it was going to rain on July 4th morning, but there's no way, you know, he could have even known that this was obviously going to stay there.
I am so glad you guys made it. That was so scary.
Those poor folks, they took whatever they could, it looks like, and got out.
Go ahead, Sue.
Is it too scary to talk?
Yeah.
Yeah. I asked her if it was too scary to talk. They've obviously just been through a terrible ordeal. We're going to let them have their peace right now and regroup. But, you know, answer to a prayer, an entire family saved by first responders.
So it would appear as though it would appear as though, Sue, that this is their entire group.
I'm sorry? Yeah, well, I'm backing up. Yeah, I'm backing up. Yeah. Thank you for everything, all the time.
Once again.
So he said out of respect, he'd like for us to back up.
Well, and let's give them all the leeway we can. They've got a job they need to do.
Yeah. The boat is gone again, may I add.
So it seems like there may be a lot more people in the same situation as that family needing rescue, because you can see a lot of houses in the distance. And Sue, when you rolled up, you said you could hear a lot of people screaming in the distance in need of help.
Yes, it was frightening. And there was a screaming for a very long period of time, because obviously even first responders are having trouble getting through on 27 because so much of 27 is closed down. The river has just overtaken the road in a number of places.
Sue, that looks like possibly a dumpster maybe that is bobbing there in the river. And that river just came up. You know, in Kerrville, they were seeing that all morning, but it looks like this just came up just in the last hour or so.
And Sue, you had just spoken to a homeowner there, and the water was 2 feet from his house, I think he said, when you first talked to him.
That's the house right there.
The water has now come up to his home.
I believe that's his house right there. There's another structure or building that we cannot see beyond that pickup truck right there. There's another structure over here behind the tree line that we can't see, so I'm not sure which part of that is his home or his property, but obviously the water keeps creeping up. Just the last thing he said when he walked away was it had come up 6 or 8 inches on the house in the last few minutes. So we're going to continue to watch that. And then, of course, this truck has been stranded, and then just downstream from here is the area where we saw all of those high-dollar recreational vehicles that had tried to escape. Oh, here's the boat. Here's the boat. Look, that's another human.
Seems like, Sue, they are pulling more and more people from the water. Wow.
That is awesome that these people are able to walk through these floodwaters, no telling what they've been through to get to that dry land now.
So thankful for those first responders. They are putting their lives on the line to try and get to those people and get them some help.
Yeah, we've seen them pull at least 7 people now out of this area. RV type, resort type area in Center Point. And that boat, we can only assume, is going to continue to go back out there because we've seen at least, we saw in that one shot while ago, a half a dozen RVs swept down at that one point of the riverbed. Sue, stay on the scene there. We have Cassandra Jimenez from Kerrville on the phone with us now. Cassandra, we understand you're at work. Can you tell me what you see? What have you experienced today?
I have seen a lot of heavy rain. It's pretty steady. It hasn't let up too much. Everywhere along the river has been completely flooded. Fortunately, the bridge over Sidney Baker going over Louise Hayes Park has not been over flooded, but all of the lower areas are currently underwater, I believe. Everything seems to be underwater that's near the river right now.
Mm-hmm. How much moving around, how much have you seen there? How much of town?
I drove through town earlier on my way to work, and there was a lot of rain still flooding in some of the streets. Some streets were down and blocked over due to the flooding, so people are having to make their way around going another direction.
And Cassandra, you work at the country club. Have you been able to make it there to that property? Are you on property right now, and is there significant damage to that property?
I am on property, and it does look over the beautiful Kerrville, Texas. You do see all the hills, and out you can see some flooding here and there. The rain is pretty steady, but fortunately we are not underwater here at this point.
Now, from what you can see, we know the river crested there about an hour and 30 minutes ago. Does it appear to you that the water is going down any at all?
Not that I have noticed, and with the continuous rain, I really don't see it going down much.
Mm-hmm. What have you heard as far as damage to the area, people missing, things like this?
Fortunately, I have not heard of anybody missing, although I do have friends going towards the Ingram area that said that there is severe flooding. Some people have had to evacuate from over there.
Cassandra, are you... go ahead.
And I have just been informed that there might be people missing in some trailers out in that direction.
Are you local from there? How long have you lived in Kerrville, and when's the last time you saw a flood of this magnitude?
I was born and raised here in the beautiful Kerrville, Texas, and I have not seen rain like this in quite some time. I have not seen Louise Hayes Park this flooded since I might have been little.
Now, you said you'd mentioned that you had heard there were some people missing from a trailer park out there. Give us some sense of direction. Where is this trailer park? Is it the trailer park north of Jellystone? Cassandra?
That I'm not quite sure, but I believe it was going towards the Ingram area.
Okay. All right, Cassandra Jimenez from Kerrville, lifelong resident there. Thank you for taking some time with us. Just please be safe, and our prayers are with you and everybody up there.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if anybody gets a chance, we would love for y'all to come eat at our restaurant. It is open to the public.
Well, we'll wait till it dries out.
Absolutely.
You have a wonderful day.
You as well.
All right, and we want to get back to where Sue Kalberg is. She's at Highway 27 near Center Point. She's been in that area where the water has just been rising and rising. They believe it's crested there at the Guadalupe River, but we've seen at least 7 people be rescued by first responders. They've launched boats out there into where the river has risen. People were stranded. There was an infant who was pulled out of that water with their family. Want to go back out live to Sue to see what else she's been seeing.
Yeah, what you're looking at now is a little lean-to shed where the first responders have brought the people that they rescued, and they've already managed to load up their boat, and they are apparently headed out to another scene because they loaded up this boat, chop, in a hurry, and they're on their way out. I can also tell you, I just want to say that I have seen personnel from Fredericksburg and Comfort, and many of these small hill country communities are all volunteer. There are some that are hybrid units that have paid staff, but many of these people devote many hours of training to do these very high intensity, dangerous things that they're volunteering to do right now. So hats off to all of them. And you know, their budgets are going to be strained. Their budgets are always strained. So if you believe in helping people out, you know, as we get through this, this is not a one and done, y'all. This is going to go on for a while. Not, you know, after the rescues, they're going to need gas money, and they're going to need all kinds of things to keep the mission going as the rescue and recovery effort continues. I know that some of you will remember that in the Comfort flood, when that church bus was lost, it was a recovery effort that went on and on for a long period of time, and there was one young man that they never found. But oh, look, he's spinning out.
That just gives you an idea how soggy and wet everything is.
These guys put themselves at risk.
Absolutely. And like she was saying, it's going to take a long time for people who own those homes, own those properties to recover. I know the city of Kerrville has already established a disaster declaration. You can only assume that, you know, Centerpoint and Comfort will do the same. I just learned from a local there in Comfort that their 4th of July celebrations have been canceled and that there is a lot of water in the town there. We're trying to see if we can get someone from that area on the phone with us.
All right, Sue, thank you, and thank you for sharing those. Thank you for sharing the wonderful rescue of those 7 people pulled from the water, literally clinging to trees in that flood water that has moved down now to the Centerpoint area. It's going to continue to head south. Sue, we'll check back in with you in a bit. I want to go now to Rania Kaur with the latest, who is in Kerrville. Rania.
Barry, Audrey, I know you guys mentioned the disaster declaration. I now have a better idea of just how many agencies are here. We mentioned the Coast Guard is here with helicopters. I now know that Austin, Texas Department of Public Safety, Longview, Conroe, Kerr County, San Antonio, and the Texas Parks and Wildlife are just some of the agencies that are now here in Kerrville to assist with search and rescue efforts. I want to bring your attention to that yellow home that we've been pointing out since we've gotten here this morning, just to give you a visual of just how much the river has crested since we've been here. When we got here, that home was almost the stilts that home is on was almost submerged by the Guadalupe River. I do now see somebody that is walking outside of that home, so glad to know that they're safe. But we know that search and rescue efforts are happening all across the Guadalupe County River right now. I know you just a second ago heard some first responders probably on their way to another search and rescue. At the moment, that's saying we do know, and we have confirmed with the Kerr County Sheriff's Department, that there have been several fatalities. And at Louise Hayes Park, Kerrville Police Department confirmed one body was pulled. Again, they're combing this area. 4th of July was supposed to happen at Louise Hayes Park. That celebration, of course, canceled. And first responders actively telling people in Kerrville to stay home as they continue these rescue efforts in the area. The United Methodist Church has been set up as a refuge, but this is still a developing and ongoing situation as rescue and search efforts continue here in Kerrville. Barry, Audrey.
All right, thanks so much, Rania, for that update. That's amazing that they have people all the way from Conroe, she said. That's outside of Houston, who are there trying to help with the recovery.
They're going to need a lot of help. And this was, we had a shot of this earlier, and at the time I couldn't tell exactly. If you watch, that white line is just the leading edge of that water coming down Lake Valley. This is on Lake Valley Road, a creek. That line there, the white line, is the water coming, then the water is behind. But what you see in the brown behind that open water is nothing but a massive field of debris.
And that was shot off of Lane Valley Road there in Comfort. And Paul, you were talking about that water, that wall of water was headed there, and you can just see it coming.
Oh, yeah, that's what a flash flood looks like, no doubt. You know, we have all those limbs and debris and all kinds of stuff in there. And that is dramatic. That is amazing footage there on that bridge. Now they need to get out of there, being on that bridge. Okay, so let's talk about what is going on. Of course, we've got flood warnings in effect. We've got a flash flood warning. Every time I look, this is extended. This was expired at 7, then 10, and now noon. May be extended even further because I'm seeing more rain moving into Kerr County, which is bad. So we've got a flash flood warning for Bandera and Kerr counties. That is until noon, and now does include parts of Real County as well. Of course, flooding on the Guadalupe River. Now, the river has crested at Hunt, and it's come down. Also at Kerrville, the river has crested, and it has come down. Cresting right now, by the way, if you're wondering where Sioux is, center point is like about right in through here, and the river is cresting as we speak. Where it hasn't crested yet is at Comfort, but it is rising. It's rising rapidly there at Comfort, and should peak at about 30 feet, a little over 30 feet, about 30 and a half at 1 o'clock this afternoon. Wouldn't be surprised if that crest wasn't a little earlier, probably around noon. And then further down the road, down around Spring Branch, it looks like we're going to have minor flooding on the Guadalupe as all that water moves down the river, down to the south and to the south and east. Okay, here's what's happening now. So far this morning, our rain has been light, but I think the intensity may pick up a little bit as we head into the early afternoon hours. Here is Kerrville. We've got more lightning strikes. Here's some good news for you. The lightning strikes with this thunderstorm activity is weakening, and that is definitely great. But let's widen the view a little bit here. Here's our area of low pressure that has developed. This is a mesoscale complex, or actually a mesoscale system. And this is going to continue to move on down to the south and east. About 3 hours or so ago, let's widen here. About 3 hours or so ago, yeah, it started off somewhere around Brady, Texas, and has moved down to the south and east. And this is heavy rainfall. I mean, we've got tropical air that's in place, and so these rainfall rates are like 2 to 3 inches per hour. And you can see we've got a lot of yellows and reds here into Kerr County. Lightning strikes into Gillespie County. This is the last thing they wanted to see in Kerr County. Let's just hope that this pushes through and doesn't linger. It looks like it is going to push through, but right now starting to rain heavily again just west of Kerrville, around Harper, western portions of Kerr County towards Mountain Home. Also, we got a pretty good cell there southwest of Kerrville, between Kerrville and Lakey right now, and so more activity is moving through Kerr County. How much? Well, over the last 12 hours, rainfall amounts have been anywhere from 7 to 10 inches just west of Kerrville. And here's where the Guadalupe River is, and it kind of does this kind of a thing right in through here. Well, all of this fallen made the Guadalupe River just swell at Hunt, almost about as high as it's ever gotten there in Hunt. Kerrville, not quite a record, but one of the top 5 floods in Kerrville. So a lot of rainfall there. So let's widen out. Now, this was not the area that had the worst overnight. The most rainfall was up here. Here's Brady, Texas, and just south of Brady, back to the north and west, 10 to 15 inches of rain fell north of Junction, between Junction and Brady. Huge rainfall amounts, and that complex is moving on down towards the south as we speak. How much rain? Well, about 2 to 3 inches per hour, pretty close to that. It does look like it's weakening a little bit, but where you see the reds and the purples in here in northern portions of Kerr County, western portions of Kerr County, Kimball County, you've got 2 to 3 inch per hour rainfall amounts. This is Fredericksburg here, just west of Fredericksburg, pushing through as we speak. This will continue to move to the south and east. Let's take a closer view. Again, I showed you the bullseye of rain last night, just in the last night period, about 7 to 10 inches right in this area. Well, guess what? Here comes some more rainfall moving in. I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't pick up anywhere from 1 to 4 inches of rain, just depending on the trajectory. This may really aggravate the situation. It's pretty rare that you would have a crest and then it come down and then another crest, like a double crest. That would be, that's pretty rare that would happen. So I'm not expecting that to happen, but definitely it is going to be a little slower for that river to recede with more rainfall moving into Kerr County. Here are the precip rates. Yeah, we've got 1 3 inch per hour, about 1.5 inches. So anywhere between 1.5 inches to 3 inches. And I'm expecting for this to linger into Kerr County for about 2 hours. So again, wouldn't be surprised to see 2 to 4 additional inches of rain moving into Kerr County, and that's why we've got the flood warning that's in effect all the way until noon. We've got a flash flood watch until 1 o'clock, does include Bear County, all through the hill country and along 90. So, you know, it's one of those days that you definitely want to be aware. We've got an impact day for today. All right, this is, I'm going to switch things up a little bit. I was using the HRRR. I think I'm going to start using the graph model. None of these models are perfect. I mean, look at the time, 9 o'clock, and look where it has the rainfall positioned all the way down here into Bandera County. When I just showed you, it's just now moving here. So this is kind of in advance of what is really happening, but I think it's really, it's doing the best job with that area of low pressure. So for the next couple of hours, I think we're going to see some heavy rain off and on again around Kerr County, and then our rainfall will continue off and on till about 4 o'clock this afternoon, and then it should dissipate around the firework time. Could be a few showers to the east, but I think western sections should be fairly dry for the fireworks for tonight. So here's the forecast for today. Lots of clouds, good chance for rain all the way through this afternoon. Temperatures topping out in the mid 80s, around 86. And then this evening, I think at around 9 o'clock, temperatures in the low 80s, lots of cloud cover, but probably rain-free for tonight. At least that's the way it looks for the rest of the 4th of July weekend. 86, 87, that's it for a high today, and that's if we reach that. By the way, every day this month, the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, high temperatures have been in the 80s. I'm going to go through the record books and see when the last time that happened. It may have never happened before that the first 4 days of July, temperatures were in the 80s for highs. That is pretty rare. 90 degrees for Saturday, 30% chance of additional showers and storms, I think. And then on Sunday, 93, partly cloudy skies. All right, I believe Sarah's got some traffic. What is happening out there on those roads, Sarah?
Hi, Paul. Yes, we're going to go back to that live shot over in the Kerrville area. But first, I hope that you can make this out. But this is what is showing up on Drive Texas right now. I don't know if we can make it out. But basically, I wanted to show you that because it stretches all the way from Comfort to Highway 83. And it just shows you, it's a good visual. All right, I get that. I wish I can show you it off of my computer, but basically what Drive Texas is showing is just a very far and stretched out image of how flooded this area is just northwest of Bear County. Anyways, for now we're taking that live picture in the Kerrville area. You can see it looks like we're still experiencing rain. Our drivers are getting by. I believe some roads may be receding now, which is good news, but again, we're still following numerous road closures at this time. Our photographer at the scene showing us just the debris that was left behind from that heavy flooding from earlier this morning. But again, you can see that drivers are getting by. All right, let's take it to my map now. Can we take it? Oh, we have the Drive Texas map. Okay, can we show that? There we go. Thank you guys so much. I know the cell phone wasn't ideal, but I think this is a really great image because you can see here that the flooding is very bad. It stretches again from all the way from Comfort on the right-hand side of your screen all the way left to Highway 83. And you can see we're zooming in. You can see areas like Ingram, as north as Mountain High, currently impacted from that flooding, all the way to I-10. And it stretches even further up. You can see, as we go up higher, let's see, I think that's possibly Segovia. Okay, Segovia Junction. I think the red might be a construction closure, but all that blue that you're seeing here on Drive Texas, this is all flooding that TxDOT is reporting. Just a very shocking visual. I don't think I've ever seen Drive Texas covered with this much blue. And that's why I wanted to show you this, so I'm happy that we were able to bring this onto your TV screen. But yeah, you can see how much flooding is impacting northwest outside of Bear County. Can we bring down the map a little bit lower again? I want to show them what we're following in Kerrville. You can see that it just stretches from the right-hand side of your screen to the left-hand side. So Kerrville, very much an active scene right now from those